Probably you've heard that the Scorpio is making you spiritual and Aquarius is giving you that philosophical edge. You are going through those YouTubes and you try to understand what's positioned there in the chart are responsible for this particular facet of esoteric career or your spiritual interest, but you don't really understand how all these work together or which of these superpowers you got. In this video, we'll be going through those special parts which create spiritual or esoteric person. There also be a relation to one's career life if one wants to go in this way. But even if you are not super spiritual or if your life is not super dedicated to those things, maybe you have only one part, and if you understand how it works, then you will be able to multiply its effect. So let's roll the intro and start with the first one. And the example we'll be using is also very interesting because it will not be some, as you could suspect, super spiritual person or some astrologer from generational knowledge or things like that. It will be the royalty, but she is very dedicated to those esoteric field or spiritual healings and all that alternative things. Of course, I don't need to tell you there is a lot of scam related to all those topics, but if we go to this core philosophy of what it means to be spiritual or what is esotericism, then we can assign them planets and we can check these on the charts, and also we can see those things in our chart. The first thing is about the yoga. There will be a specific position of planets, normally 2 or more, which will define the type of spiritual personality you have. So we have the 2 main. One will be the Tapashvi yoga, and this is created by Saturn, Ketu, and Venus. And also there is one other important, but on the different side of things, which is when Sun, Jupiter, Rahu, or Ketu, these 4 are called demand grahas, they are giving you skills, or when they are defining your nature, right? So on one hand, we have this Tapashvi yoga, Saturn, Ketu, Venus, defining your nature, and the other is this demand, Sun, Jupiter, Rahu, and Ketu. And I have seen that if they are in those special points related to defining you, then this is creating one of these 2 spiritual personalities, we can say. We tend to a little bit simplify things and say that Tapashvi is only about austerity, but there are 2 other components. One is the freedom coming from Ketu, and the third one is Bhakti, which is coming from Venus. Also, when we are staying on this Tapashvi yoga theme, then you may think why those people are doing those austerity. Are they dumb? Why they are not enjoying the life, right? But in the Bhagavad Gita, it's said that there are 3 types of enjoyment. And the sattvic one is starting with bitterness and is ending with the nectar. But the Rajasic one, the order is exchanged, which means that first you have those nice dopamine, which then melts and put you in that sugar crush. So in that sattvic thing, we are first starting with some initial work we have to do to make those small plants grow. And then each day, each week, the knowledge is compounding, or something you do, maybe the skill, the art, you are working on something, and this is giving you more long-standing fun, enjoyment, which also you can sustain. It will not end so easily. And also what's interesting, the Bhagavan, the word which describes the God, means that there are the person who have 6 opulences, people who can be austere are very attracting, and also they are often controlling. There is the saying that the one who is more austere will control the situation. And as then the following consequences would be that these people are we cannot make them corrupt, right? They are having their own way. They are not distracted by things, so they can be focused on what they do and they can work hard. So if you have this yoga, then you can use those 3 important features to your advantage and know that you have this special strength which can lead you to success. There is also saying that you need to have a bhakti, because this tapashvi things, it all can make person less emotional, right? If you are going through that fire of austerity. But if we add the bhakti to it, then it is giving that completeness, we could say, right? Because the success always comes, or often comes, when you have this natural born thing and then you add to it those lacking parts, those things you need to work on or compensate. So if you have this Tapashvi Yoga, you also need to be careful to add this Venus, to add this Bhakti to make it complete. So now there is this demand, the other part, right? Sun, Jupiter, Rahu, Ketu. If these are in the special place in the chart, then this is making one invested into the knowledge, and you have those skills which are giving you more we could say, the information, the resources, and this also can make person spiritual. And these both things, either coming from this or the other yoga, this is making the whole journey sustainable for the long time. So we can see that one yoga is going through the conviction, the second is fueled by the emotion, which is related to dedication, the sacrifice, and this feeling of austerity, which is very enjoyable. If we think about these two parts, these are two gurus, right? One is Jupiter, one is Venus. What is different about them? If we think, the Jupiter is the male and also is the Sura. It's also more related to this analytical part, while the Venusian part is more belonging to Asura. It is about the emotional part and about the dedication. So probably among your spiritual friends, you will be able also to see which one is important, which one is dominating. And this can dominate in different ways, in different points of the chart. This one can dominate in Rāśi, the other can dominate in the Navāṁśa, so you will have different mixes. But if you will have one of them in strategic point, like the Navāṁśa Trikona, then you are having those ability, you have those skill which you can multiply, you can bring it to perfection. So the unique thing about this Venus is that it can also move the emotion of others. Therefore, you can be activist, you can pull other to the thing. Therefore, also what is moving the emotion is also art. So also you will not only give the dry knowledge, but you will try to make it in such a way that it will move the emotion. So the activism and the art and the uniqueness in which something is given. This is all the Venus way of work. Whilst in the Jupiter way, you try to detect the connections. You try to be a researcher. You try to just be able to get that eureka, to find the missing links. This gives you the sense of awareness, and this leads you on the way. So there are two ways. They are both neutral. By the way, if you like to have a consultation on the Zoom, 60 or 90 minutes on the health or relationship or career life, when we are unblocking the potential, giving the mantras and also the prediction and time when the things are expected, then please find the link in the description. But if you locate them in the chart, then it will be more effective for you and also more fast to get the results. Now, the second point is about the vision and ability to transform. Some people have it more, some have it less. Maybe you have this somewhere hidden gem in your chart, so how to find it? By the way, in the Märtha Louise chart, we have this in the Trikona to Navāṁśa. There are many interesting things in this context in her chart, which we'll reveal step by step. Now, there will be some people in the spiritual or esoteric realm which have the power to vision, intuition, and also to transform others through some metaphysical means like a mantra or instruction or other things. So how to locate these in the chart? Because if we think about spirituality, it has these three components: Sat, Chit, Ananda, full of, it's eternal, full of knowledge and full of happiness. And I would say that the major existential breakpoint, that there is something wrong, that we are sat inside, but we are associated with the things which are asat or temporary. The existential crisis is the experience that other people in our surrounding die, right? So this seeing of the death or the smashana vairagya, this renunciation when being exposed to that conflict of the Sat and Asat, right? We feel inside that we want to thrive, right? But we are somehow on the machine, which is Asat. This is a big conflict, big problem of this material life, which we tend to forget. We try to ignore this. Which planets are philosophizing about that? This will be those who are exalted in the sign of cemetery, which is Capricorn. And which planet is exalted there? That would be the Mars. And the yoga Mars-Saturn also calls the, we say, god of death. So these topics of reincarnation or transformation, as you may think, they are somehow approaching this topic of metaphysical thing, right? Things which are spiritual. Any abstract theory which is alternative to this temporal things, right? It must have some components of being metaphysical or spiritual, because everything material will transform, will last, right? So there is no other way. Why the Mars is transforming, right? If we see the fire, it is changing, right? Things to the ashes. So this is the great purifier. The Agni is also the fire is the element of the sight, right? Each Jnana Indriya, the sense organs, which is there to get the information from the world, is having the element. And for the sight, this is also the fire. Fire is also, in the Vedic philosophy, the tool to transport or transfer our wishes, our mantras from us to the higher realms. Therefore, the homa, the yagyas are done using the fire, because it is the, we call it the lips of the gods. How we can go through this tunnel from the material world to the spiritual, it is done through the fire. You can see in the chart, the 8th house is Scorpio, which is loaded by Mars. So 8th house is also about this transformation. So we can see that there is a strong role of the Mars in all of that. Therefore, no surprise that if you have a strong Mars, exalted Mars in the chart, then you will have that thing. What is that? How we would define this martial skill? A very important part will be the vision. There is this logical part to it, because the Mars is also ruling the Nyaya, the logic, but there is also this vision. You will be able to predict things. You will also be able to visualize things. It may be related to intuition, not as some mystery thing going on, but also the magic or mysterious parts can be there, but also as ability to see things as they come to mind without any anumana or without any logical work, right? So that is the other thing. You can just be exposed to something because of that martial ability of a sight, which also can transcend the material thing. Also, people who are able to visualize in other more mundane branches of knowledge, like economic or engineering, they can predict what will be the market, what will happen to the Bitcoin, right? What will happen to this and that, how the stocks will go, and will we have another crisis like in 2008? So these people with that, blessed with that planet, Sun, Mars, Ketu, can also got that ability. And I have had few chart readings with people who are dabbling with predictions. And I remember in the Daśāṁśa, they had this yoga of the Agni planets, the fiery planets, which were responsible for their work. What is the planet which is responsible for transcending something? Transcending means that you are outgrowing some place and you are going higher. And usually between these two stages, there are some tests, there are some problems, right? Like in the border, at the border also sometimes between some countries, you need to show the visa, there is some stress at the border. So these borders are shown by the Rahu and Ketu. So all the experience of going from one state, also of consciousness, to the other state, always the notes will be there. And this time, this period of going from one state to the other is very delicate and can create a lot of problems if not done properly. By the way, in her chart, she has Mars exalted in the Lagna, so this is the Ruchaka Yoga, which is giving that vision, and the Rahu is also in the Lagna, so the at least interest in transformation is there. The Mars is 11th Lord. 11 is about the tradition, and is also dispositor or Anitya Karaka of Jupiter Guru in the 11th, right? So we have this 11 here as opening to more spiritual masters and in that traditional way, because the 11th house can also show friends. And the dispositor of that Jupiter is that Mars. And Jupiter is the Karana, so which shows the work you do. For some people, this will stay on the personal or hobby level. For others, they will try to use this also in the career life. So it will somehow spill into the chart of career, Daśāṁśa. So you've tried many things, right? And you've discussed with many people, and the world will respond to you in the some way. Only some people will become the boss. There will be some people who will be your partners. Only some doors will open. So you have to find your own way, and the map of how the world is opening to you is in the Varga charts. And for career world, how it is open to you is the D10 or Daśāṁśa. So for some, you can be able to do the courses or giving the lectures on Ayurveda or Vastu or things related to maybe art. And there will be hard to open the doors for any spiritual or esoteric work. So the Daśāṁśa also have to bring us this vote for yes. Imagine if you are placed in that position that Daśāṁśa says yes, but you don't have these yogas in Rāśi and Navāṁśa, right? So that would be quite irresponsible, and many scandals may come from that. So how to see that you will have this taxes, you will have workers, you will have clients, you will have collaborations, and you will be requested to do the job related to this specific profession. Is it the nature or is it the nurture, right? Is it something which is coming from socio-economic surroundings, or is it coming from nature, right? Be individual. So we see that this is combining, or this is the third line. This is neither nature nor nurture, because it is individualistic, because this is karmic, but also it is related to external socio-economic things. Like I said, only specific target of people will be interested in your readings or lectures. Only those type of teachers will be close to you, and so on. So there are also some patterns which are not psychological. They are, we could call it karmic patterns, which are there in Varga. So it is also important to recognize them. This is also how the journey into astrology starts for many people. They are seeing that there are some patterns in my life which are not related to psychology of myself, which are not triggered by my character. And these are happening outside. And when these people recognize those, then this often can inspire them to look for things like astrology and allied subjects. So these branches of knowledge are the only commentary to that experience. By the way, in her chart, we can see how Venus, the 10th lord from Rāśi chart, is with Jupiter Ketu in the Daśāṁśa, in the 10th house, right? Jupiter Ketu is showing the parampara, is showing this spiritual thing she is offering, and Mercury is in the 4th, 7th lord in the 4th, aspecting that. This is made in as a freelancing or type of entrepreneurship, and also we can see how this Mercury is going from 10th lord to the 4th, right? So she is losing some status, she is losing some work or changing some work, because the 10th lord Mercury is going to the 4th. It's a leaving, right? And exactly in Mercury, she resigned from using the title, or she was forced to resign of using the title of princess in her private entrepreneurship, because that was not seen okay by the public. In the Rāśi chart, also very interesting case, there is a parivartana between that Sun and Mercury. And what is changed, what is transformed? Is it the Venus, right? 10th lord. The Venus is going from the 9th to the 8th. So this is also nice proof that in that parivartana, the planet which is joining is changing. And the parivartana is just the machine on which this product is going from the 9th to the 8th, right? So from the 9th of being royalty, she's going to the 8th. It's like a little bit losing the fortune, we could say. When 9th lord is in 8th and it's the benefic, you are giving up the fortune. But in the Daśāṁśa, we also can see that she is changing, transforming her work, 10th lord in the 4th, right? And it's all related also to that spirituality. So you can see that this dilemma, right? She's born royal, but there are so many spiritual yogas in her chart that she must align to what's in her nature, right? Otherwise, it could create a lot of, I don't know, maybe nervous breakdowns, or it would be hard to live in such conflicted dichotomy. And now, if you have this experience that you were in some yoga retreats or some spiritual places, like in the temples, then you will see that there will be some people who will have the sun aura, right? They are into the theology, into the spiritual life. They are those who are into Jupiterian, more Jnana Yoga academics, and there will be those who are in those Rahu Ketu, right? Some, we could call it suspicious people. They will have this mystic aura. And this mystic aura may not be always easy to approach. This can also reflect in how they look like, right? In their image, how they behave and things like that. But there will be a special skill which is needed here, as you will notice that for many esoteric people, they would need to have the aruda related to the node, which is making that suspicion on you, or this positively seeing that as the mystic aura. But also you need to have, or you need to be in possession that other people are coming to you, right? So there is a conflict. And this conflict is presented or seen as the symbolic conflict, because Moon and Rahu, they hate each other, right? When they are together, this is the battle. And these planets are not mingling well together, right? But you have to unify them, because you need to be in the position that you are transcending something, you can see things, and you can transform other people. But also, it must be a situation that the people are coming to you, right? So the Moon must be related to 11th from Aruda Lagna, whilst the Rahu or Ketu must have something to do with your Aruda Lagna. So this is a conflict, this is problems, which usually is resolved by bringing the third person into the equation, right? It's like there are some people who are working in the backstage, right? Rahu researcher or Ketu, some mystic yogi, and they don't have the best marketing or public approach. You need to have the third person which is bringing that connection. And usually this is brought by the Sun or the Jupiter, right? So for example, you have this recommendation in any alternative healing or the astrology. The recommendation part of the business is very important, right? Because it is, we could say, making the Rahu and Ketu approachable, right? So you need to have another person, or there must be some title, there must be some credibility, which makes, oh, this Rahu and Ketu, it will help you, right? It will not hurt you. Just like you have a dentist, right? The dentist is also working with the Ketu. There are some drills, and she has a title and recommendation that, no, she will not hurt you with all those tools or weapons. She will rather try to help you with all those scary things. So these Rahu and Ketu are bringing this doubt, they are bringing this suspicion. Just like even with the Mars and the Sun, if person has the Aruda with the Mars or there's the Sun, then there is some distance created, right? There is some stress in that first approach to such people. And they can make the other nervous because of this energy of those planets. And therefore, we need to have some Sun or Jupiter. We need to make it all very logical, how it works. We need to explain what's the thing. And through the recommendation, right, other people, therefore, are recommending astrologers, oh, this person helped me a lot. This Rahu and Ketu, what he does with his Rahu and Ketu, with those ability he has, or with the knowledge of Rahu and Ketu, because often these represents the knowledge the astrologer have, this will help you, right? This will give you a benefit. We will unveil or transcend the time, and we'll see what will happen in the next few years, and you will be presented with that knowledge. So if it's done with the association of Sun and Jupiter, then this Rahu and Ketu are suddenly positive. They are transforming in a very positive way. And the last point, just as this conflict of the node with other planet is in that career thing, it is also there in that individual learning of the spiritual or esoteric people. And this corresponds nicely to Jupiter and Ketu, the Parampara Yoga. We have seen how her Aruda is loaded by Rahu, second from Aruda is with the Sun, 11 from is loaded by the Moon. So she also has this social avatar, I call it. The Aruda is the social avatar. So she can take that dress code of esoteric person and she will not look weird, right? If you have note related to Aruda, then you can fit into this dress code of esoteric person and you will not look fake. People will say, yes, this is authentic. This is the person. This is aligning with the energy. This looks good. So when we talk about the learning, we are doubling here with some spiritual knowledge. So there will be a lot of doubts because there will be some complex processes. Or even in astrology learning, we will be exposed to some rules which are not so easy to see or which demand some time to be digested and incorporated in your readings, right? You will notice that some rules take time to really understand what they are showing, right? So you will start incorporating more and more rules when you are able to understand how they work, to which part of life they correspond to. And without the teacher, without the personal teacher, you don't have this supporting part. So therefore, those who are only taking the knowledge here a little bit, they are on this YouTube, here a little bit from this newsletter, they are trying to get everything independent. Then when they are brought to that doubt, there is no person to push you to go through it. Right? Like there is this saying that the only way out is through it, right? So you don't have that person who is or bringing you all the time to your mistake, because just like we are going to psychotherapy, you will have some flow in you. You'll be always a little bit going to the wrong direction. And therefore, if you have the supportive part of a teacher, then first of all, he can push you through that doubting process and then you can digest it and then incorporate it. So you gained the rule. It's now part of your Vijnana or realization. And just like in psychotherapy, when you repeat the mistake, then it may also be then part of your own habit, and therefore you progress. And otherwise, without that personal support, personal trainer, we could say, then the doubt can be bigger than your small Jupiter, and then it will eat him up, and you will not gain the Jupiter. The Jupiter will be eaten by the doubt, and you will be left with Rahu, right? And as Gita say, for the doubting person, there is no happiness in this world or the other. All right, guys, so that's all for today. I hope you find this interesting and informative. If you'd like to learn more about the Tapashvi Yoga, then you can try this video here.